Hello, it's Sandra Pike from Royal LePage Atlantic and the Pike Group. And today I have a very special and interesting guest. And, Kelvin is from CMHC. So, Kelvin, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us who you are? And thank you so much for joining us, by the way.
Good. Thank you so much, Sandra. I think it's a pleasure for me to appear on your show. My name is Kelvin, last name Ndoro. I'm a senior analyst, economics with Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation.
And we're very lucky because you are locally here, which is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I love Halifax and it's an interesting city. Happy to be
Yes,
here. Yeah,
indeed. And how long have you lived in Halifax now?
I've been in Halifax going on 12 years now.
Oh, wow. Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. Oh, good stuff. So let's just, get right in to the meat and potatoes. So a few days ago, CMHC released some great stats. And I looked at some of the rental stats there as well. And I know that I do mostly selling houses here in Halifax, but we do have parents who have kids going to university here, and just give us, a little synopsis summary of what's happening with our rental market.
Yeah, so the rental market, we had the vacancy rate at 1%. So that's the lowest vacancy rate that we've had. And I think it's the third year since 2018 that the vacancy rate has been 1%. So what essentially that means is there isn't enough rental apartments out there for people who are looking for them. And another flip side to that was we saw the biggest jump in average rents. Overall, I think average rent increased 8.9%, uh, which is way above the long-term average of 2.5% and was even higher than the Canadian average increase of 5.6%. So when we look at just two-bedroom apartments, Halifax had the biggest jump in rent for two-bedroom apartments in the country.
Wow. Which leads me into this question. The data on the immigration that's going to be coming to Halifax. Do you see? Well, I guess I don't think it probably won't have a big impact, maybe on selling, purchasing homes this year, but it'll definitely with the rental market.
Yeah, definitely. But I think we've seen the impacts of migration generally on both the rental and the resale market. Uh, we've seen, like in 2022, for example, we had about 8,000 more people come from other provinces to Nova Scotia. And most of those people are coming from Ontario, which is a market that is relatively higher prices than Halifax. So those people are most likely going into the resale market. But at the same time, we had a jump of about 12,000 from international migration. So that's international immigrants and also non-permanent residents. And those people are most likely to go into the rental market. So
Yes.
we've seen both pressures in the resale market and the rental market. And with house prices increasing the way they have in the last 2 years. And as you know, Sandra, the resale market, we saw a drop in sales this year. So a lot more people are staying in rentals longer just because they can't find a home that's affordable. So that's putting more pressure on the rental market.
Yes, no, it would be. And I know I was reading an article this morning that even a lot of the developers here locally now are, they're either selling or they are just putting the brakes on even building. Going back, you were talking about affordable housing. So I did some stat the other day and I found that the average income in Halifax, it's around 86,000. So that would make, with a household income of 86,000, you're purchasing a home of 415,000. But, when it comes to, new construction, it's very difficult to even build a house for 415,000.
Yeah, that's very true. We've seen a slowdown in housing, both for single detached and multi-units. And and I think part of the reason is with the increasing cost and inflation and so forth, some of the projects are just not viable. So a lot of people are probably playing a wait and see game, but also in terms of price points, with affordability being the way it is, a lot of people are looking for something more affordable and less likely to want to go into that higher price point. But I mean, home ownership is the largest source of wealth, like among families, which makes it very enticing and something people aspire to. Until recently, home ownership has been accessible because we had very low mortgage rates. And CMHC has also had other programs like the First Time Home Buyers Initiative and mortgage insurance programs, which allow people to buy houses with a down payment of only 5%. So this added very high demand to homes, and as such, we saw a rapid increase in pricing as housing supply wasn't able to catch up. So I think interest will eventually stabilize or even decrease as inflation goes back to the Bank of Canada's target rate of 2%. But I think this just generally speaks to the fact that in the meantime, we need more incentives to increase supply. And I don't know whether that means we need to be careful about some of the regulations that might be implemented, which will serve to de-incentivize home building.
You just touched on something there. You talked about incentives for first-time home buyers that CMHC had. Do they have anything right now currently?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many programs that are aimed at people trying to get into homes. The First Time Home Buyers Initiative is still there. That isn't changed. We also had at some point introduced the shared equity program as well. So there's so many different programs that people can tap into for sure.
If you could wave a magic wand and change one thing about the housing shortage that we have here, what would it be?
I think the short answer would be we need to increase supply. Uh,
Yeah.
I mean, the emerging slowdown in housing construction, particularly for large multifamily projects, as well, like it poses further risks to housing affordability in the region.
Mhm.
So I think municipalities, and in this case, the Halifax municipality, has to find ways to alleviate the economic challenges and spare housing construction. So
Mhm.
whether that's improving approval timelines or reevaluating some planning features and just generally improving certainty or reevaluate government charges, that could go a long way in trying to encourage more home building. Um, and I think another thing to that as well, like we have a lot of I think I would call it NIMBYism, not my backyard, and
Yes.
people are worried about they change their neighborhoods and so forth. But I think that's just does not help in terms of trying to increase supply. In the City of Halifax Center Plan, the Package B one, it's been put on pause, and there's some things that are still yet to be implemented. There's a lot of good things in there, and that could definitely improve housing supply.
You know what, that if you get a tiny house, for example, within the center plan that they're talking about, to be able to put a tiny house in my backyard that I could have my parents live back there or my parent, you're right, that would help with some of the strain that we are faced here. I mean, we are a growing city, and people like Nova, well, not just Nova Scotia, but people like Halifax. And that would be something that is such a small thing that we could do that I think would take the pressure.
No,
You know,
definitely. I think you're very right about that, Sandra. Like we've seen it in other cities. Vancouver is doing it. Edmonton has one of the most affordable markets right now, and they've changed their zoning to include they call them garage suite or secondary suite and so forth, and that has added about 1,000 rental units to their rental universe between 2018 and 2022. So that could be a game changer for sure. Like there's very high demand for rental units. So the solution to add more rental units and close that supply gap shouldn't be left just to big developers and property managers alone. Like if we can come up with solutions and incentives for homeowners to add rental units to their existing homes or properties, it will go a long way to adding more rental supply. And it will also encourage home buying because part of that high mortgage from increasing prices will be subsidized by rental income. So, I mean, just to give you some statistics, I was looking at this, like there are about 100,000 single family homes in Halifax. About 17,000 of those homes are one-person households. 39,000 are about two-person households. And the average bedroom size or number of rooms in a home is about six to seven. So there are a lot of people who are sitting on more of a home than they need. So if we can have incentives that encourage homeowners to turn their homes into rental units and so forth, it will be a big change both for the resale market and the rental market.
I'm on topic what we're talking about, but my statement is going to be off topic. You know, I'm just thinking about our parents as the age. And, you know, for me to have, you know, let's say a small, tiny house out back, mom and dad are there, you know, they're with me. And, you know, if I can help take care of them, that's taking, you know, some of the strain even off from the health system. So, wow, there, you know, you have the rental market that it'll help with, there's just a lot of good things that could happen if we could just move forward and just do it.
Yeah, definitely. I think we're kind of at a critical point and time is not on our side because demand increases way faster than we can build houses. So we need to find other ways besides just building more units to encourage the increase in rental supply.
Yeah, maybe we should elect you for premier or mayor. What do you think?
Oh, thank you, Sandra. I don't know. I like what I'm doing now. I think I'm still trying to make an impact and trying to make sure people are informed and that we affect policy in a good way. I like it so far.
Good stuff. Yeah, no, and you know, thank you so much. You know, my brain is just, you know, it's just rolling around now thinking about how important you know, having a second unit on the house and allowing us to do that. And it's such a now, are they stopping it because the infrastructure is not there?
To be honest, I don't know the reasons. I know it's something that's being considered, but I think like I did mention NIMBYism, right? And like people want to keep the low rise in low density suburbs and so forth. So maybe some of that are things that will be under consideration, right? Because if we just allow people to build, some people are concerned that maybe some people will put too high a building that affects their view or something like that. So there's all these things that we need to consider. But I think making sure that everybody has a home that they can afford, increasing density, whether it's by secondary units, like we said, or maybe increasing the height that's allowed in certain neighborhoods and so forth. I think all those things have to be considered, and making sure people have homes has to be a priority, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Well, I want to thank you for your time today. I know you have a busy schedule, but you certainly made the wheels turn with me. So thank you so much for your time today.
No, thank you, Sandra.